Hi, right, United Kingdom happened. The event, massive. For me, it looked like similar numbers to last September when I went. I wasn't going to talk about it because I didn't go. And the main reason why I didn't go, too, was that it was a miserable experience for me last time because I didn't get to the event and I was just jammed in with a load of people. Many of them were drunk. Um, Constant wafts of marijuana around the place, and it's just like, need a wee. It was not fun. It was not fun at all. We didn't get anywhere near the event. The satisfaction I took from it was obviously so many people went, and that one-off event did have a huge impact. The people around the world saw that, um, all over Europe, everywhere where people are pissed off, and it's sort of showing, okay, right, there's clearly a huge amount of people that are not happy with the way they're being governed. Now, it's not going to change the way we're being governed. So this leads on to the other reason why I don't go, is because I don't see the point. I don't think it'll achieve any objective other than you go and you have a nice time. If you enjoy yourself, being around patriots, hopefully maybe you got to the event, or you actually sort of had the sense not to do the march bit and just went straight to a point where you could watch on the screens. You know, and I hope you had a nice time. I hope you took something from it. I hope you made friends. All of that. In future, as I say, all right, I think this should now really be just as a patriotic celebration. Do them all over the country. Have proms in the park, musical acts if you want to do that, because it's just the same sort of speakers. I mean, Carl Benjamin spoke. I didn't think he would. I didn't think he'd be allowed because he's been quite critical of that country. That one. And also on the Lotus Eaters, they've been very much criticising this most recent war in Iran. And again, that's not popular with the United Kingdom group of people. They're very pro that war. But he spoke, but he didn't really talk about anything that controversial there. He did a party political broadcast for the Restore Party. And that's a very clear positive from this as well. It seems that Restore, even though, Rupert didn't attend it again, I think it's just sensible. I think he's just keeping his powder dry. He's ploughing his lane, if you like. As he said recently, lay some pipe. But I don't think he knows what that means. If he did, he wouldn't have said it. Bless him. But anyway, so I didn't go. It was all right. Nice event. I think we're headed for a reckoning. I think there's nothing that can be done to prevent it. It's just how long does it take enough people to realise that events like this will not work. The government is not going to have an election unless they want to, and that's the establishment, I mean. And the establishment, at the moment, doesn't seem to want to. If they think that it'll be beneficial to have a quick election to pass power sort of to the people's impression to reform a Nigel Farage, who's, Nigel's going to save us, but really is still the establishment, then that's the reason why they would do it. It wouldn't be for any other reason. And if they want to make Starmer do it, they can make Starmer do it. Anyway. He's got enough on. They've got enough on him to absolutely destroy him if they want to. It's just the case of at the moment they're going to let it carry on the way it is. Anyway, one of the things that I found a bit disappointing about this as well was Montgomery Toms was there. Now, I really like Montgomery Toms. He's sort of one of Rupert Lowe's team of young, dynamic, intelligent, articulate, brave guys that I sort of think of Rupert Lowe as like the 1990s Alex Ferguson and his team of young players, Giggs and Beckham and Scholes and all that. And it feels like to me that's what he's building there. It's really quite promising and exciting. But Montgomery, based as hell, he does his on-street interviews with people, and I was very disappointed at how many people were against illegal immigration but okay with legal immigration. And it's like, okay, there's a lot of work to be done here. There's a lot of work to be done for that many people, because they're there, they're the patriots. They're supposed to be, based and really awake to what's going on, but clearly not enough. I don't know whether they don't know the figures. They don't realise that it's like, 1 million a year. not tens of thousands or something as would be portrayed. So there's work to be done, and obviously my message is join Restore, get active, go to branch meetings, get out there, get leafleting. I would like to know if Restore has an opinion on when things turn more direct activism, with national strikes and that sort of stuff. It would be nice to know where they stand on that. Or maybe, again, just sensibly keeping their powder dry. I would imagine behind the scenes they would be all for it. But no matter what happens, there is going to be a reckoning. There has to be, because the establishment are not going to just give up. They won't. They can't. So it will come to the inevitable conclusion, which is awful, but it will happen. And I believe we win. We have to, because if we don't exist. And I believe there will be an autopsy carried out on the corpse of this establishment. And I think it's going to be shocking. I think it could go on for a decade or more, maybe 2 decades, and will go down in history, like future history, if our country survives, as possibly one of the most pivotal moments in our history, because so many atrocities have been carried out purposely by this establishment, and that's why they can't just give up the power, because they know that it's coming. So at what stage things go from civil unrest to civil disobedience, and I think what I mean by civil disobedience is like strikes, blockades, that sort of thing, not paying your taxes. Things will start moving more quickly at that point, I believe, because the reaction from the government will be absolutely savage and brutal. And at some stage fire will be returned by the people. Anyway, without going into that too much more, I don't know. Does that mean I'm mad? I seem to be asking that at the end of my videos. How mad am I? But I don't see another way. But, if you went to the event, you had a good time, great. Good. But I won't be going anymore. I just don't see the point. Anyway, see you soon. Bye-bye.